a look at just a couple of mean questions where you have to find the missing value, just in case you do end up coming across any of these problems with your students in 6th grade. So our first question is, when Marvin went bowling, his scores were 110, 93, and 146. If he bowls a 4th game, what will his score need to be to give him an average of 115? And so first of all, we want students to remember that the mean is the average, and we find that by getting the sum of all the numbers and dividing by the number of numbers, or the number of values in the data set. Now, students' first inclination might be to say, well, he has to get a 115 and be done with it. Their second inclination might be to make some guesses and try some different numbers. So maybe they would try something around 115 or 120 and figure out the average, figure out the mean with that, and do some guessing and checking. But my way of discussing this with them is to encourage them to set this up as an equation. So we know that our mean equation is the sum of the numbers divided by the number of values we have. Values. And that equals I'm just going to use M for mean. And so if we take it from a formula type of approach or an equation type of approach, we can fill in the things that we know. So we know that the average is 115. That's our mean. That's given. We know how many games he's bowling. So we've got 1, 2, 3, and if he bowls a 4th game, then the average is going to be 115. So we know that there are 4 games, and that means we just need to figure out what the sum of the numbers is. And I'm just going to use S for sum. If you have already done solving equations with students at this point, then you can think about solving this equation using inverse operations, which would be, we would multiply both sides by 4. Okay. And we could just cross that out. So multiplying by 4 on both sides. If the way it's set up right now might be a little confusing. We used to, in the solving equations, we had it this way, S divided by 4. And if we multiply by 4, that made that turn into a 1. It eliminated it. This way makes it look a little bit like they're going to get 16. So you may not want to write it exactly that way, but that's what we're doing. We're saying 115 times 4 is going to give us that number. What number divided by 4 is 115? We find that by multiplying. So 4 times 115 is 460. So then we find out that the sum is equal to 460. Okay, so now we know that all of his games added together is going to equal 460. And this one has to be included. If we add up what he has so far, he has 349. I already did that. 349. So 349 plus some number, whatever that is going to equal 460. And how would we figure out that number? We would figure out by subtracting. We would do 460 minus 349, and we would get 111. And we could use a question mark here, or we could use a G for the game, whatever. The 4th game will be 111. And that would be the final answer. And then I would encourage students to go ahead and put the 111 up here, add all 4 scores together, see if you do get 460, then divide by 4, see that they do get 115, so they can conclude that 111 is the score. So again, set it up as a formula. The sum of the numbers divided by the value of the number of values is the mean. Substitute in the numbers that we know. We know the mean, we know how many games, and then solve from there. And we'll do a second one here. The mean of the data set is 10. What number is missing? So I'm just going to use sum divided by numbers. I'm not going to write out values this time. Is equal to the mean. We don't know what the sum is yet. We know that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 numbers, and we will count the missing number because it is in the set. and the mean is 10. So something divided by 6 is 10. That is 60. So the sum of the numbers is 60. If we add up what is here so far, 12 plus 6 plus 8 plus 10 plus 16, we get 52. And then if we take what the sum is supposed to be, 60, minus the sum that we have so far, we get 8 as the missing value. And then again, I would encourage that students add up 12, 6, 8, 8, 10, 16, get the sum, divide by 6, and make sure that the mean is 10. And that is just a few quick questions about finding the missing value. Let me know if you have any questions.